Yeah, this is where the wife holds the camera because she's not all about that.
Oh, he's so active. Look at the pretty colors on him. He's got the blue and the purple.
Oh.
And then I got another one. We'll let him go. He's good to have around. And then I've got another little guy. He's got red.
Do they change colors as they grow?
No, different breed or different type. See, he's just a baby. He's got the orange back or whatever on him.
Oh.
And it looks like they're like a snake's kind of slithering around.
Yeah.
But they're not. They got 4 legs and they just like being in damp places.
Oh. And we just pulled up his little house, I guess.
Yeah.
We're doing the bathhouse. Oh, he's decided, I guess I need to find a new home.
Yep, we'll let him go.
He's got to get busy today.
I'm going to pick him up and put him back in the woods so we don't injure him. Look how fast he is. Got him.
Oh. We like all God's creatures.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we are going to be putting the bathhouse on the, or the shower house I should say, on the back side of the cabin. And we're just temporarily have everything laid out. But before I start telling you about this build, I got to tell you how my day started. So this is going to be one of those days. It rained all night last night, and we let the dog out during the rain because she had to do her thing, and let her back in. This morning I woke up bright and early, and I thought I'm going to go ahead and get moving on this shower house. This will be great to share with my viewers. And I took 2 steps off the porch and stepped right in the middle of a pile of dog crap. And that pretty much set the tone for the day. That's about as good as it's going to get. I went back and I just started just roughly laying these things out. You can tell they're not level or anything yet. But I just wanted to lay them in a position so I could get a feel for what's going on in the job. And back by the camera, if you remember last year, I put in a sand point well, and I dug about a 4-foot hole, and then went ahead and put the pipe down in there and started to drive the pipe down, and never finished the project. And as you can guess, while I was laying this woodwork out, I stepped in that 4-foot hole, twisted my knee, threw my back out, and just life sucks right now.
Hollered like a banshee.
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention one thing. This is going to be a little controversial, and I know I'm going to get a ton of comments over the years of people telling me I'm doing this wrong, but no, I'm doing it right, and the way you're thinking is wrong. So here's what I'm doing. A lot of people, if you're down south, traditionally you'd want to drive some footings down below the frost level. And up here in the north, I'm very familiar with our frost heave. I'm a plumber by trade. I deal with frost heave all the time, wrecking sewer pipes and wrecking water lines. And for that reason, and more, which I'll get into, I'm not going to put footings in. Instead, this ground here behind the cabin was compacted with a compactor before the cabin was even set in place. It's all rock hard, and it's fairly level. There's a few things that, you know, that have come unlevel over the years, but we've got it to the point where it is. We're going to set this addition on pavers, and here's why I'm choosing to do it that way. It's much easier for me to go through in the spring of the year and take an hour or two, and if I have to adjust the building, I'll use my level. I shoot the building with the level. If the building did go out of level during the thaw in the springtime, it's easy enough for me to take a farmer's jack up the building, and just shim it up. And so for that purpose, I'm not going to do the footings. And it's the ground here is rock hard too, and yeah, there's a ton of boulders that are underneath the ground, and I'm not going to deal with that. It's just much easier to go ahead and for me to put it this way. Now, from a financial standpoint, the advantage to doing it the way that I'm doing it now is if I put in footings, this thing is considered a permanent structure, and now I can be taxed on it. Because I'm not doing permanent footings or basement or slab or anything like that. Once you do a concrete slab or any of those other things, now this becomes a taxable structure to my community. And so my whole purpose of doing this is I want to live as cheap as possible and as easy as possible and not have government control me. And this is my way that I chose to do it.
Hey, buddy. All right, we are ready to roll. I've got floor joist in. I didn't record that because I think everybody pretty much knows how to put in a floor joist. We went 16 inches on center, and I'm just using 2x6s because this is such a short building. I do have joist hangers on here, which is probably a little bit of overkill. You can see the joist hangers right down here. You probably don't need them in a building this small, but what the hey, we had them laying around and we want to do it right. The plywood that I'm putting down is 3/4 inch green treated. I decided to go with green treated just because I don't know what type of moisture is going to be floating around underneath here, and at just $1 or $2 extra a sheet, I figured that would be good. So this is all leveled out. I know oftentimes the GoPro makes it look like it's not level, and it's kind of deceiving, but you can see we're going to have this come right out of the back of the cabin. The cabin door opens inward, and the door that we got for the shower house is got a door that opens inward as well, so the two doors shouldn't be hitting each other. Now these screws, that screw that I just put in, that's just temporary. This is an old trick. What I did is when you're working, you know, with limited amount of help or whatever, I don't have a full crew out here, it's just me and my wife. I went ahead and just put a board to hold this back wall up with one screw into it, and I have it put down in the hole where I tried killing myself this morning. And then
You tried? Oh, honey.
And then to hold this wall, I simply just put that one screw in up there. Everything is plumb on the bottom, and that's just going to be a temporary hold until I can start carrying more walls in. And then once I get them all set into place, then I'll bring in the nail gun and I'll start hammering away. Okay guys, we are going to put a temporary screw in on this side just to hold it still, and then once we get this side at least just secured, then instead of putting up the final wall on your side over where the camera's set up, we're going to bring the shower module in piece by piece and set it inside the shower house, and then once it's in the shower house, we can go ahead and put in the last wall.
All right, just something cool about this shower stall. The reason why I was so thrilled when Abel went ahead and set me up with this stall is it has these little permanent rods that are embedded on the bottom there, and those are magnetic. So when I set the two walls into position, the magnets take all the guesswork out of it, and right now this is put together. Now I'm a big fan of, before I set these shower bases, I am going to go ahead and mix up a concrete mortar, and I'm going to put that underneath the shower base, and then we'll put the shower base into its final position. But I don't have the mortar with me today, and that's not my concern today. My big deal that I wanted to do today was just to get these walls framed out, and if I have enough time, I'll get the rafters on and maybe throw some sheeting up on top of the rafters. But once this is set into place the way it is right now, and the walls are finally tied in, it'll be easy enough that we can move this back and forth and be able to get everything ready and then secure this. Bailey just took off after something like crazy. I'm not sure what she's going after. But I think we just found what we're going to have for supper tonight. This is really, really cool. This is like the prized gem of the North Woods in the UP in Wisconsin, here where I am. And check out what I just found on our trail going back to the cameras. I'm going to quick scan the camera over here and show you what we found. All right, when I saw this bright orange color, I don't know if you guys know what these are, but this here is a lobster mushroom. And lobster mushrooms are really thick and really meaty, and just like their name, they taste like lobster. You can bake them up with some butter and garlic, and you will have the treat of a lifetime if you like seafood. We've had heavy rains all last week, and it's funny, I haven't found a single morel or anything, but today we got lobster mushrooms. They kind of smell just like lobster. This is cool. First time I found them, and we've had this property for 20 plus years. Okay, one wall tied in. How are we looking up top there?
Looks okay.
All right, fancy.
Yeah.
We are ready to roll. All right, so I'm gonna go get the stinking nail gun, and hopefully our air compressor holds out, and we're gonna start shooting a ton of nails in this thing to secure and lock all the walls into place. All right, guys, I imagine a few of you are probably wondering what we are going to do for rafters at the bathhouse. And I'm simply going to do 2x6s, and I notched them out on the front plate, and then also on, if I don't fall off the ladder here, on the back plate. And we're just going to go ahead and sink some nails through there and hold it into position, and that's going to be our rafters.
Oh, wow.
Ah, you caught me.
I was busy doing the outhouse, and you did all this by yourself
Yeah.
up there.
Getting the sheeting up there was
Oh my gosh, you did.
challenge, but
I wouldn't have heard you yell because the generator was was going. Wow.
it's pretty sweet. We got the sheeting up on top of the rafters. So now if it rains while we're gone during the week,
Are you a plumber or a carpenter?
who cares? You know, if it rains, who cares? As far as plumber or carpenter goes, I don't know, I guess I'm just a hack, but
No,
it's a lot of fun doing it.
gotta learn as we go.
Yep. All right, now if I could only remember where I keep setting my screw gun at. It's up here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It looks great.
Thank you. All right, guys, and here we are following the log path to the old while I was doing the new. My bride was putting her talents to work. She put a new floor in the old house, and you can see she freshened up the paint. It's just a one-holer, and we do have skylights as the ceiling, and that has been holding up great. I had one subscriber who was afraid that the sun and the elements would crack all that, and it has held up beautifully. And it's nice because in the winter this is somewhat warm, but in the summertime we constantly have light, and when you come in here in the middle of the night, it sure is nice to have the light of the moon and the starlight keeping things bright for you. So, all right, flooring is done. She's got a fancy floor. The throwing is all done, and if you remember, there's the vent pipe that I put in last year to help freshen up the place. And yeah, for an outhouse, it's beautiful. There's no smell at all. And while the wife was freshening up the old, I was building the new. Here's our new addition to the cabin. And actually, it's a separate building from the cabin. But this is like my fourth time taking this outtake, because every time I get close to being done, I think, oh, I can do one more thing. I can do one more thing. So I went ahead and did all this today. My wife helped me out in the morning, and then she had her projects that she had to do after that. But we went ahead, we leveled the floor, and we put it on concrete pavers. Went ahead and at home, we had assembled the walls. And so when we came up here, it was just a matter of assembling the walls. And then the rafters and the floor joists, those we did cut up here. But let's go down and take a look at this at a little bit closer view. I almost died coming down the hill. All right, so on this wall here, this is the side facing towards the lake. We have a huge window that's going to be going in here, a slide window, to help with ventilation and help keep things cool and dry and not so humid in the bathhouse, or shower house, I should say. We have a porch that we're going to be putting in here. I extended the rafters from the shower house up to the edge of the cabin, and we're going to be putting some boards on there to make like a deck that we can walk on. And then if you notice, we did not attach it to the cabin. I did put an overhang to try to keep most of the weather out, so that when we come out here, we don't have to worry about getting rained on, or hopefully it keeps the snow off this back here to a minimal. But the reason we didn't attach it to a permanent foundation, like I mentioned earlier, is a financial reason. It has to do with taxes. And as long as we don't have a permanent foundation here, it is considered a movable structure, just like an RV. So we don't get charged any extra taxes. The shower stall is not mounted permanently yet. I may or may not have mentioned that earlier in the video. We just have it sitting in place. And I'd like to thank the dear sweet people over at Able Plumbing Supply. If you ever need plumbing products, they're a nationwide chain. I encourage you to check them out. They gave me this very nice quality shower stall to use towards our videos, and we appreciate their support. And then you can see across out in front of where we have the shower, this blank wall here, I think I'm going to put a composting toilet here. Then I don't have to worry about legal permits and fees and all that other stuff for a septic system. It'd be much easier to put a composting toilet in here. And then we also have enough space where we can put in a vanity with a countertop and sink.